there are a lot of people who are isolated, who are
Yes.
lonely, who are not having that
Yeah.
contact, that connection, those hugs. Like, people are
Yes.
really, really to themselves and not being able to make that human to human connection. And that's important, especially
It's
for your mental health as well.
Welcome back to another episode of the Charyse Williams Show. You guys know May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And so today, our topic is eternal wellness, transforming mental health with functional medicine. And we have the phenomenal Sweet Tea MP. Her name is Tawana Raymond, but she goes by Sweet Tea MP. And so let me go ahead and introduce her to you. And then we're going to hop into the discussion of mental health through the lens of functional medicine. So, Tawana Raymond is a functional medicine trained nurse practitioner. She's a dual certified family and psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner with 16 years of experience. Tawana specializes in mental health through a functional medicine lens, helping clients, especially African American healthcare professionals, prioritize wellness, break generational cycles, and achieve lasting healing. Through her practice, Eternity Wellness 22, she creates a safe space for holistic healing, combining psychotherapy, somatic therapies, and natural interventions. Welcome, Sweet TMP.
Hi, I'm glad
How
to
are
be
you?
here.
I
I'm
know.
good. I'm good. How are you?
I am fantastic. And I think this topic is so timely. And I cannot think of anyone better to have this discussion with than you. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, yes. So, some of you may know this, but Tawana and I know each other through from the Process Practitioner program. Tawana was a student inside the Process Practitioner program, and so insightful, just absolutely brilliant in general, but particularly as it relates to mental health. So, Tawana, we know that May is Mental Health Awareness Month, right?
Right.
And I know that the people, everyone that's listening, or the majority of the people that are listening to this podcast are nurses, nurse practitioners, physicians. They're in the healthcare space. Some are entrepreneurs, and some are in the traditional healthcare setting. And
Right.
so let's just acknowledge that we have a lot of stuff going on, right?
Don't we? Yes, absolutely.
We have a lot of stuff going on.
Absolutely. Yeah, being a healthcare professional, especially taking care of, if you have a family, you're trying to build a business, like that's just a lot in itself. And then especially in the African American community, you're still trying to stay afloat or stay relevant and be on your best P's and Q's so that you
Mhm.
you know that you're performing in the way that you should. It all
Absolutely.
can be very stressful, and it's something that everyone deals with and I think is experiencing today. Of course, everyone is stressed, overwhelmed, and not even realizing it. I have people who um are like, I don't have anxiety, but then they're like doing things or saying things that's like, sounds like you might have a little anxiety
Sounds
going
exactly
on.
like that's what you have. But you
Yeah.
know what? To your point though, it's become so normalized, right? Like just
Yeah.
I know you mentioned a second ago, like just high functioning anxiety. It's become like that's the norm, and there's memes about it. There's like again, we've normalized that that's just the way it's supposed to be. When in reality, that ain't the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, everyone's functioning on overdrive. And internally we have chaos. We're just in there trying to get it
Yeah,
done, reach that goal. And then, as you know, the African American community, we're known for being so strong and keeping it together and holding it
right.
together. A lot of people feel like if it's not together, or if I'm not reaching my goals, if I didn't do what I'm supposed to do on target, then it's not okay. I'm a failure, and then you
Right.
have some who experience imposter syndrome. You have all these years of experience, you have all these clients you've seen, all just everything that you need, degrees, everything to say that you are who you say you are, you earned it, and you
Right.
are qualified. But of course, we still have that, am I good enough? Can I do this? And you've done it several times already. So
Right.
that's another pressure on top of you trying to check off all those boxes, make sure you're doing your job, building your business, you're a parent, you're a wife, you're a friend, you're just trying to And then, of course, in healthcare, once you become a provider, a nurse, like everyone calls you and your
You
family.
you're the one. You get the calls, you
You're
get
the
the
one.
texts, you get
Yes,
you get all the
yes.
things.
So it's a
Yeah,
lot of pressure, a lot
for
of pressure.
sure, for sure. And for I think we're beginning to turn the corner a bit as it relates to it just being a very taboo subject. Like I know for I was gonna say centuries, but for sure decades, you
Mhm.
just mental health that wasn't addressed. It wasn't even spoken to. It wasn't spoken about, and so it's kind
Right.
of just swept underneath the rug. And now, thankfully, I think we've come to a place where again, it's not. I'm not going to say, we got a little ways to go still. We definitely have a little ways to go, but at least now people are talking about it and it's not so hush hush and taboo. Would you agree?
Yeah, and I also think that in this generation for sure, time times are changing, people are realizing more of this. I know we all hear this break generational curses, breaking the
Mhm.
cycle. Like that also comes with a weight. It's not
Yeah.
just a title, like, you literally are carrying the weight of maybe your great-grandmother and your grandmother and your mother,
Mhm.
of things that they've done, and now you're trying to make it different and then create generational wealth for your children and your grandchildren. That's a lot.
It's a
Like,
lot.
just that's a lot. Like,
Yeah.
things are passed down through generations, and, of course, we know, like, genetically, you can
Absolutely.
have a predisposition for a certain disease or something
Mhm.
in a gene that was passed down, and a lot of times, stress, anxiety, depression, all those things can change your genetic makeup, and
Mhm.
you're having to deal with something that your mother or your grandmother had to deal with and maybe didn't overcome before
Right.
the end of their time, and so now it's
You
like everyone's coming to this realization like, "Wait a minute, this is not right, and I don't
mm,
wanna pass this down to
right.
my children." So, yeah, that's heavy. That's very
Yeah.
heavy.
And the interesting thing too, again, to your point, it's like even when you start to come to the realization, you actually start to think like, wait a minute, this ain't even my stuff. Like I got my
Right.
own stuff. Now I got this
Yeah.
ancestral, whatever, I can't say the
Yeah.
word,
Ancestral.
stuff compounded on top of this, and it
Yeah.
does feel so heavy. And so
Yeah.
that's why I'm so thankful there are people like you who can provide that safe space, and not just provide that safe space so that it can be talked about, so that it can be addressed, but then I'll be able to offer different therapies and a different and looking at it from a different lens, because we know so much of mental health. Well, we also, I'll say it differently, we know that the gut affects
Mhm.
so much of mental health. So you want to talk about that just for a little second, and then we'll kind of jump into some things that people can do.
Yeah, so, of course, ignoring some of the symptoms of high functioning anxiety or just stress, just dealing with so much on a daily basis. Of course, we ignore digestive issues, fatigue, sleep disturbances because we're thinking like, "Okay, I'm so busy with
Right.
my job and with the things that I'm doing." A lot of times we just chop it up to, I need to maybe get a little more sleep, or I need to
Mhm.
do this, and it not really focusing on our bodies and what our bodies is telling us,
Mhm.
how stressed we are, how we are feeling emotionally, and, of course, the gut brain does have a connection, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
um a lot of times we don't realize that when our gut health is not where it's supposed to be, then your brain doesn't 90% of the serotonin is made in your gut, so your brain doesn't get what it's supposed to get in order to help the process of, even if we're just talking about sleep,
Right.
your brain has to turn that into melatonin, and you're like, "I don't know why I can't sleep. I'm having racing thoughts," and all these things are all stem from your anxiety, but you're not really realizing that it does start in the gut.
Yeah.
And, of course, the root cause blood work analysis, that's something that we can do to do a deep dive into your blood work to kinda see what, issues you're having, which can be related to your gut, related
Mhm.
to heavy metals, related to toxins, related to food allergies. Like, there are
Yes.
just a ton of things, parasites, and go on and on that could possibly be wrong
Right.
and also contributing to your mental health.
Absolutely. You hit the nail on the head with that. And it's so interesting because traditionally, when we think mental health, whether it's anxiety or depression, we look, okay, let's prescribe something, right?
Yeah,
And again, overlooking a huge piece of the puzzle, which is gut health. Like you
that
mentioned,
helps. Yes.
the
The
uh
build up
the
in the
yeah,
gut brain relationship.
yeah, I was gonna say yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, no, no, no.
Oh,
You
oh,
I
oh,
was just
no,
trying to remind you.
you're trying thank you, thank you. I was gonna say the sequence of events that have to occur,
Right.
for the gut to be able to communicate to the brain, so
Mhm,
that the body is then able to produce that serotonin or to produce that melatonin, all
mhm.
again affecting our mood and affecting our sleep, and we know that sleep affects our mood as well, and so lack of the sleep affects our mood. So yeah, just really, so grateful again for you understanding that process, because instead of just going straight to, oh yeah, let me put you on meds, which I mean, at the end of the day, no one really wants to be on meds.
Right.
Most people don't want to be on meds. And at the end of the day, it ends up being a band-aid, and not because you're
Mhm.
not even looking at one huge contributing factor, one piece of the puzzle, a
Right,
big piece of the
right.
puzzle. So yeah.
I definitely, always recommend to my clients, of course, anyone who does the root cause blood work analysis definitely gets the advantage of having a deeper dive into
Mhm.
the root cause of what's going on, but I definitely still recommend therapy. Even,
Mhm.
even with that, because, um we've lost touch with recognizing how we're feeling. We disconnect, we
Yes.
just trying to get it done. We're not really focused on how we are feeling or how our what our bodies is trying to tell us.
Right.
So, just becoming aware of what triggers you to feel a certain type of way, or
Yeah.
how you can decrease your stress at the end of the day, just learning those techniques. Of course, we talked a little bit about somatic therapies,
Mhm. So
breath
for people
work.
who, yeah, I was gonna say for people, I'm sorry to interrupt, but for those, I know that you and I, that's, we speak that language, right? But for those that are listening and maybe they've never heard the word somatic therapy, or maybe they've
Somatic
heard
therapy.
it, but they didn't actually know exactly what it is. Can you shed
Yeah.
some light on that? Hmm.
So somatic therapies is just basically doing things, on a more, like you said, everything is not medication, medication, medication. Doing things such as stretching, yoga,
Hmm.
grounding, breath work, things
Hmm.
that kind of help slow your body down naturally, help you become more aware of your body and
Hmm.
releasing some of that tension, releasing some of that stress, because as you know, when we're stressed out, we have a lot of tension, anxiety that stays in our body, within our muscles. So the stretching, the yoga, the exercising, grounding, breath work, all of
Breathing,
these,
yeah,
yeah,
intentional breathing,
mhm,
absolutely.
all of these things help your body to release that stress and
Yeah.
to, become more, um to its normal state of where you should be, versus just, tension, anxiety, and that fight or flight mode. That's what I'm trying to say.
Right.
Living
Yeah.
in that fight or flight mode is what, causes your immune system to be lowered.
Hmm.
Your body's working overtime all the time. That is not good on
Right.
your, organs, of course, and just releasing those endorphins that
Cortisol
always,
is like,
yeah, it's just
yeah,
all your body's just all revved up all the time, and that's
yeah,
just definitely not good for your health. So,
for
yeah, those
sure.
therapies kinda help to relax your body and release some of the stress.
Listen, I live by them. I mean,
Mhm.
when I live breathwork, grounding. I mean, it's not even a option. Like, it literally is a requirement, particularly. And here's the thing: whether you're an entrepreneur or whether you again work in a traditional, hospital setting or whatnot, it's so important to regulate your nervous system, as Tawana was saying. Doing something that helping our body communicating to our body
Mhm.
that, okay, we can pivot out of that, uh, fight or flight, right, which is the high stress, high cortisol production. We can pivot out of that. We can move from, fight or flight into rest and digest. We can bring all systems back online. We are safe. We're not being chased by a tiger. It is okay. And
Right.
when we right and when we start implementing some of these practices that you're going to share in a second, well, you've kind of shared some, but I'm going to ask you to kind of go a little bit deeper. But when you start implementing these practices, again, it signals the body, oh, we're safe. We can turn off the cortisol. We can turn off the cortisol. We can turn on, let's say, the serotonin, or we can, whatever. I always tell people, we have our own internal pharmacy,
Mhm.
which is beautiful. But we have to know how to communicate to our bodies so that it knows what pharmaceuticals, internal endogenous, pharmaceuticals need to be
Yeah,
produced and created and circulate through our bodies. So
absolutely. I just,
yeah.
recently, I became more of course, so I talk about everyone incorporating these things, and this is all a part of your self-care, something that we have to start taking as serious as we take our business plans or our goals,
Mhm.
or we're so focused on completing things, doing tasks, but so I speaking on that, I started being more consistent with my daily walks. So I try
Mhm.
to walk an hour a day, and when I tell you the mental clarity,
Oh
like
gosh. Yeah.
I don't know. It really, like, you hear, "Oh, take a little walk." No, it really does clear your mind. You feel better. Sometimes I listen to music, sometimes I don't. Like,
I'm with you.
sometimes I'm just, just letting my mind flow, or just,
Yeah.
enjoying the sun. And so that, along with stretching is another thing that I have incorporated, and I think that it's important. Some yoga, of course, as well, cuz those different poses do different things. I'm
They
telling
do.
you, when I
Mhm. They
when I
activate
started
different
the
organs. Yeah.
yes, I started the beginners yoga stretches, and when I tell you, the next day I was like, "Dang, I ain't even
You're
feel that
sore.
muscle in yes." I'm like,
I know people think yoga is like this passive, like non-physical thing. Yeah, right.
"Yeah,
Do an hour of yoga and then check in the next day,
yeah.
and even 2 days later, you're like, "Why am I so? I didn't know I have a
Wow."
muscle here. Like,
That's what I'm saying, like,
what's
how
going
did I
on?"
even use that muscle? What was I
Yeah,
doing? Yeah,
it's
but it's
so true.
definitely needed. You start to feel more youthful physically, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? With your, when you start releasing that stress and moving those muscles and doing those stretches, exercising,
It's
it
true.
really does make a big difference with your mental health, so
It certainly does, and it's a little hack. I would say hack. It's kind of a little hack in terms of, we hear a lot now about longevity, and it
right.
plays a huge role in just longevity in general. So
Mhm.
yes, mental health, yes, longevity, yes, cardiovascular health. Right? We all know, we need to walk for physical health reasons, but
Right.
man, when I tell you, just like you said,
The mental
those
health.
mental health, oh my
Mhm.
gosh. Oh my god. I used to
Mhm.
feel like whenever I would go walking, I had to have music. And probably over the last couple of years, it's like, yo, I just want to be by myself. I don't want
Right.
any outside noise because we're all overstimulated as is.
Yes.
So it's like I want nothing. Just give me
Yeah.
the birds in the
I
background,
was
the
just about to say,
wind.
you actually hear the sounds of nature when you don't
You
have
do. And
anything.
again, that
You
signals
just
your body
yeah.
to come on down, go
Mhm.
ahead and relax, settle in, and again, move from fight or flight into rest and digest, which is where we want to be anyway.
Right.
So
Yeah.
love it, love it. So you talked about yoga, you talked about stretching, you talked about breath work. I love breath work. Breath work's my like go to. First
Mhm.
thing what I
Yeah.
do in the morning, I take some intentional breaths, and then typically at the top of every hour, I'll take about 60 seconds or so to do some alternate nostril breathing,
Mhm.
just kind of reset, recalibrate, and it makes all the difference in the world. All
Yeah,
the
I was
difference
gonna
in the
say, I
world.
seen something the other day, I can't remember what it was on, but it was really talking about how we are supposed to breathe through our nostrils and not really
Mhm.
do a lot of mouth breathing,
Yeah.
especially when we're sleeping, like,
Mhm.
and so there were these people trying, like, doing different practices of trying to train themselves to breathe correctly, like, through your
Mhm.
nose. It's literally a whole Mother Nature, man, God
I'm telling you.
it is divine the way that we are made, like,
Yeah.
when you take a breath, just the route that your breath goes through your nose,
Mhm.
then, even from the hairs in your nose all the way down to your lungs, like,
Everything.
it's a whole process, so,
It is, and it's so
it was just
fascinating.
saying how many people don't breathe correctly,
We
and if you
don't.
did, then it would make a big difference, like, would there even be people who snore because,
Mhm,
a lot of
mhm.
people sleep with their mouth open, and we're not supposed to, so,
Right.
yeah, it was very interesting,
I
so
yeah, it's so fascinating, and one thing that I didn't until I started learning about breath work, which I think is one of the most underrated but most powerful tools
Yes,
that we have with
I
us at
agree.
all times. You don't have to think about,
Mhm.
did I bring it with me? Yeah, you got it. You just
Right.
have to remember to slow down and breathe intentionally. But
Uh-huh.
when I started practicing, learning about, and then practicing breath work, I realized that I I typically breathe very shallow. Most of us breathe
Mhm.
very shallow, and I did not know. I didn't notice it because I was in a kind of in a public setting, and she was walking us through breathing, and she said, "Okay, just breathe, deep breathe." And I'm like, "Okay," and my chest is rising, but there ain't nothing going on down in my belly or
Right.
nothing. She said, "No, breathe from your belly, like breathe from below your diaphragm." I'm like,
Yeah.
"What?" And it felt so weird, so awkward, but I did it, and I'm like, "Oh, that does feel different. Oh, that
Mhm.
feels so much better."
Mhm.
And it's like you don't know until you know.
Yeah, and you're
Yeah.
literally though, like, especially my clients who use breath work when they're super, super anxious or about to have a
Mhm.
panic attack, you literally lower your heart rate. Of
Oh,
course, like
yeah,
racing heart, all those things are
yes.
coming up when you're having a panic attack. That's just a natural way to relax yourself,
Mhm.
lower that heart rate. Like, it really gives you those
Blood
results right
pressure
there. Right
does.
there. Yeah.
Immediate, yeah.
I love it. I love breath
Yeah,
work.
lower your heart rate, lower your blood pressure,
Yeah.
um, lower your respiration or decrease your respirations, all of it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so physiologically amazing. And so what are some other things that healthcare providers, again, whether they're entrepreneurs, which I think is equally important. I think it's just as important whether you are still in a clinical setting, traditional clinical setting, or if you're an entrepreneur. Do not sleep on it. But what are some other things that we can do intentionally as it relates to our mental health?
I think one thing that we don't do is, of course, therapy.
Yeah.
Therapy is something that's always been taboo.
Mhm.
Um, just knowing the African American community, it's always okay to pray, but you can't process, you
Can
know.
you say that again?
It's
Can you
just
say it
it's
again?
a lot. Pray but can't process.
Right.
You can survive, but you can't feel, like it's like you
And
just
it's
supposed
like,
to.
and you wonder why you're in a hot mess.
Yes,
Right?
yeah.
I'll never forget one of my dear friends, actually it's my mom's dear friend, but she was like, and I'm sure we've all heard it, like, number one, what goes on in this house stays in this house,
Stays in his right.
right? Which is not
Mhm,
healthy at
mhm.
all for so many different reasons that we won't
Yep.
even go into today. But and then the other thing was, I remember I would always see her say, nobody needs to know about my problems but me and God. And I'm like, I beg to differ.
Right,
But
right.
she's older than me. That's just the way she was raised
That's
and
the
all that.
way,
But I'm like,
yes.
nah, you might need to go talk to somebody about
And these
that.
are the things that's
Yes,
passed
God, yes.
down.
And these are things that are passed down.
Yeah,
And then this is why things don't ever get resolved. And then we've
right,
got so our that way of process or not processing. I was gonna say that way of processing, but really it's a way of not processing and stuffing
right.
feelings and suppressing, repressing all the things, never dealing with it. Time and time again. So
Yeah, and
yeah.
vulnerability is
Oh
not
gosh, yeah.
weakness.
No.
It's really wellness. Like you're being vulnerable, you're addressing the issues, you're not suppressing it as you mentioned, and you're dealing with your emotions. Like it's okay to cry, it's okay to be emotional. It's okay to That's why so many people are not emotionally intelligent because you grew up
Yeah.
not like you said, you don't cry or what's wrong with you or you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Or
I'll give you
if
something to
something
cry about. It's
traumatic,
like, but I have something already. Thanks.
yeah, if something traumatic
It's
happens
like, I
to
don't need
you.
nothing else to cry about. I got it.
Yeah, right.
It's funny
If
that we
something
could joke about it, but
right,
it's real.
but that was look, before I give you something to cry, okay.
You're right. It's like, I'm good. I got it.
Right. Um, but yeah, if something or traumatic happens to you, of course,
Yeah.
we don't ever process that in
Yes.
our community enough, I don't think, because
Mm-mm.
like you said, things are swept under the rug, it stays in this house, this is you know what I mean, like
Hmm, hmm.
it's almost normalized
Yeah, it
sometimes
is.
with
Mhm.
trauma happening to your mom or trauma happens to your grandma, and now it repeats itself, history repeats
Right.
itself, here go trauma again. Oh, that happened to me before, you're fine, you'll be fine. Like,
It's like, no, it shouldn't happen to you.
right. It wasn't
It's
fine when it
it
happened
wasn't
to you.
exactly. Isn't that crazy? But
Yes.
again, that's why we're here to break those cycles and those to
Yeah.
break those generational curses. And there's an amazing book. I think I shared this book with you before. But Feelings Buried Alive Never Die.
Mhm.
And it's such a good book. If you guys don't have the book, I strongly recommend you get it. Feelings Buried Alive Never Die. You can get it on Amazon. I can't think of the author at the current time. Truman. I think Truman's the last name. But when we start to repress and and we don't process those emotions and traumas, whether little t traumas or big T traumas, whatever the case may be, it eventually is going to manifest into a
Yes.
physical dis-ease. It can't
Mhm.
help but. It's just a matter of
Mhm.
time. It's not even a matter of if it will, it's when it
When it will.
will.
That's
Right.
right, that's right. And it's okay to believe in God
Yeah.
and also journal. It's okay to believe in or, have do breath work and have boundaries. I just
Yes.
think that,
You
for
dropped some nuggets here. Breathwork and boundaries. Process it. And I
yeah.
don't know what else you said, but it was a good one.
But I'm just saying that having a safe space
Yes.
is what we need right now,
Yeah.
especially in today's time. Like, I hear a lot. This is something that has been over the years. Of course, I don't know if do you remember like long time ago how families used to get together. We have huge cookouts. Like I feel like
Mhm.
that's not as prominent
It's
as
not.
it
We were
was.
having this.
Yeah.
My husband and I were having this conversation the other day, but just about how our kids and like our
Didn't
first
expe
cousins' kids,
Oh
like they
man.
don't know each other, but like we knew our cousins, our first
Yes.
cousins, and it's like now
Mhm.
people only get together for funerals, which is horrible, and that ends
Right.
up being the cookout. But it's like no,
Right, right.
yeah,
I was saying that to say that there are a lot of people who are isolated, who are
yes,
lonely, who are not having that
yeah,
contact, that connection, those hugs. Like people are
yes.
really, really to themselves and not being able to make that human to human connection. And that's important, especially
It's
for your mental health as well.
It is because we were number one, we were created to feel, right? Going back to we don't allow ourselves to feel emotion or even to express. Whenever I see people crying or they're you get teary eyed. They're like, okay, I don't want to cry. I'm not going to cry. I'm like, please cry. Your body
Yeah,
knows better than you. Your body needs to
right.
release. That is its way of releasing and cleansing and
Mhm.
processing through that emotion. If you stifle it, then again, you're suppressing it, and it's going to get stored in your body.
Yeah.
It's gonna get stored in your body. So yeah. And so where I was going with that is I have no idea. I was gonna
I also seen that, I'm always, how you scroll when
yeah,
you scroll stuff that you normally look at or mental health, like, it just pops up. But anyway, it was
yeah.
saying how your tears, like crying, that's your spiritual way of releasing
It
trauma or
is.
releasing your emotions.
Emotion.
So
Mhm.
even if you're not like you don't have an answer, you're frustrated, whatever it is, like by crying, you are allowing your spirit, your body to release that
Release. Mhm.
and like things are
Heal and
yeah,
process.
you're healing without you even knowing the answer to what your
Yeah.
problem is. You know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
I truly believe that because you do feel different after a cry. You like, "Ooh,
Absolutely.
I feel better."
You
You
feel
know?
better. Sometimes you even feel
Yes,
tired because you've released, like you were carrying around
release
all
it,
that
yeah.
stuff and now you release it. Oh my
Mhm,
goodness.
mhm.
Yeah.
That's
And
so true.
so, oh, this is so, 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 so good. And, again, going back to something you said at the very beginning was as healthcare professionals, we're supposed to always have it together. And so where
Always.
do we go? Like,
Mhm,
where do we go for support?
mhm.
And then there's you. You're
Yeah,
where we go for
I'm
support.
here.
Yeah, where it's a
Yeah,
safe space where you get it. Like we don't have to try to explain,
right,
what we encounter as number one, healthcare professionals, period.
right.
The number twos, even more specifically, African American healthcare professionals, because there's a whole other set of things, that
That
we
you
deal with
yeah,
that
absolutely.
other people don't have to deal with. So,
Mhm.
so it's great to be able to go to someone like you who's you've been in the trenches, you understand it from different perspectives and different angles,
Right,
and you're not the one to just say here's a prescription. If you need it, you can write
right,
it for sure, but
right, right,
that's not the end all be all. Let's
right.
look at helping you process those emotions. Let's look at therapy. Let's look at this somatic, the somatic, oh, I don't think we said this, but somatic means of the body, but let's look at the things that we can do um, through our body, like the yoga, like the breath work,
Mhm,
intentional breathing,
mhm.
that type of thing. And it's a safe space. We
Safe
won't be
space,
judged,
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Judgment-free zone.
Yeah.
Safe space, meaning whatever happens within our conversation, within our therapeutic relationship, that's where it stays. Like
Mhm.
that's I think that so many people are like that's the thing that they look for because of course if you have your person that you talk to, your best friend or what, there's still certain things that you don't want to talk to
Yeah,
your best friend about, or there's certain
absolutely.
yeah, that you don't want to talk to your loved one about.
Right.
And
Either from
having
fear of judgment or just you don't want
yeah,
to put the burden on them, the concern, like, oh, I don't want to give that to, I don't want to burden them with that
right.
thought or that problem. There's so many reasons, but to have a
Mhm.
neutral party, like you were saying, sorry to interrupt. Go ahead and continue.
Oh, no. No, no, no.
Hmm.
I was just saying that that's, the reason that people mainly seek out for
Hmm.
therapy or a therapist, someone to have someone to express themselves to just truthfully and living that's a good topic, living your truth. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like so many people are just going along with what others portray them to be
Kind of the
versus
expectation. Yeah.
yeah, like an expectation of, "Okay, I
Hmm.
have to be this person. I have to be this strong. I'm the only one in my family who made it this far in their career. I'm like the
Hmm.
main breadwinner. I'm the leader. Everyone's looking at
Yeah.
me, depending on me, counting on me." And it's okay for you not to be okay. Like
That's right.
there
It's
are
okay to
there are
not be
times
okay.
yes, there are
Hmm.
times where you come to your breaking point or you need to deal with your own health and mental health because of course as healthcare professionals we're always giving giving giving, we're trying to fix people, help people, but we
Hmm.
never help ourselves first.
Right.
It's always or we're not really paying attention to
I
ourselves
think
because
that's what it is too. It's like
yeah, we're so focused on
others,
others.
right? Which
Yeah.
is beautiful. However, it's not healthy. Like with everything, there's
Mhm.
got to be balance. And you're
Right,
not selfish for taking care of yourself. And in
right.
fact, how can you take care of other people to the highest level that you need to? How can you show up for them the way that you need to if you yourself are pouring from an empty cup,
Yeah, and if
or
that's the definition of selfish, be
yeah,
selfish.
right?
Care for
That's
yourself.
okay.
Yeah, do that
Yeah,
because nobody else will, and
no,
nobody
it's
else
not.
is I think I was telling my friend the other day, like, the hardest thing to do is to pull yourself from a dark space, like,
Mhm.
mentally.
Yeah,
Mentally, that's hard because it's you battling you.
right,
So you only you could do it. So
right.
that's why it's so important for you to
You
take
can't
care of
outsource that.
yourself. Yeah, you can't
Yeah,
outsource that. Like when you yeah, try to
yeah,
prevent it. Try to pour in, like you
yeah.
said, pour into yourself so that you can continue to pour into others and also surrounding yourself with people who are pouring into you some type of way because
Mhm.
you don't want to just keep pouring, pouring, pouring
Right.
and no one's pouring into
Yeah,
you.
they
So
walk away full and you walk away depleted.
right.
And then the next day, same thing. The next day, same thing. The next day,
Mhm.
same thing. And then you wonder why you are in a dark place and
Right.
you can't pull yourself out of it. And here's the thing, the reality of it is that you don't have to do it yourself.
Yeah.
You you support. And again, that's why we have people like you, and very grateful for people like you. So yeah. And so if so you shared several things that we can do
Mhm.
preventatively, but even if you're like, oh, I haven't been doing that, okay, okay, now now you can start shifting things and start
Right.
integrating some things. It's never too late. But for those that are listening, they're like, you know what, gosh, I definitely need to seek some support. I'm either on meds, or I know I'm going to have to be on meds if things keep going the way they're going, but I don't want that to be the end all be all. I like what I'm hearing. How can people find you? How do people reach out to you if they need that support, if they know someone who needs your support?
So my business website is eternitywellness22.life. You can do a consultation through there,
Okay.
schedule a consultation, or I'm on all platforms, Sweet Tea MP.
Sweet tea
Um,
and
yeah, Facebook, Instagram. You can
yeah.
shoot
And
a
you have a podcast.
yeah, I do have a podcast, Chanel
Yeah.
Love 22. Yeah,
What is it
absolutely.
again? Say it again.
Chanel Love 22 podcast. So
Chanel Lipton. And
that's
we'll
mhm.
tag it. We'll put it down in the show notes. So people can, to have multiple ways of reaching out to you. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But what else was I gonna say? Oh, I also do the root cause blood work analysis
Mhm.
on that website as well. If you are interested in that, that's
Yeah.
an option. But definitely addressing the issue of your mental health while you are still able to function and kind of, tackle it, have the strength to tackle it. Like, don't wait till you're in that dark
Yeah.
space. Yeah.
Yeah, that dark space and that burnout,
Yeah,
which is
that burnout.
it's so real. Yeah. And I think, and I'd be interested to hear your thoughts as we're wrapping up here, but I think one thing as it relates to burnout is one, I think a lot of times we do start to get out of alignment with what it is that we truly want, with what it is that we truly
Mhm.
desire. And sometimes we feel like we're just, we're so far down the track, it's too late to pivot or change, which is not. But I know that
Right.
sometimes that's what we think. But then the other thing in terms of contributing factors to burnout is again not taking care of ourselves and
Right.
not self-caring.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
self-caring. Yeah. So love that. So again, we'll post everything down in the show notes so that way they can reach you. Any last closing thoughts before we switch to our rapid fire?
Oh, you're rapid fire.
I love rapid fire.
Not the rapid fire.
Yes.
I just I if you don't remember anything else, I just feel like, of course, we're as entrepreneurs, as this is definitely a great time to start in the mental health awareness month. Make your wellness a part of your business plan. Like, make your
Say it again.
self-care make your self-care, make your wellness, make your health a part of your business plan.
Yes,
Make it a priority, make it something that you have to do, put it on your schedule and stick to
absolutely.
it. The consistency is key. That's when you see the results. That's when you feel better, you feel the results of your work, and you're able to enjoy the other things that you're doing in your business. I feel like sometimes we don't take in the moment because we're so, in this
On to the
mindset
next.
of go, go, go.
On to the
Yes.
next. Yeah.
You don't enjoy the moment and you don't enjoy those times. So just be sure to stop, enjoy the moment, and of course, prioritize yourself, even if you feel like that is a selfish thing to do, or even if you have kids, guys, like,
It's for your kids.
you have to, yes, because who's
Do it
gonna be
for
here
your
for
kids.
them? Right,
Yeah,
you have to think of it that way.
for
Honestly,
sure.
you have to think of it that, and guess what? Kids follow what you do. Because look, my kids, "Can we go on a walk with you?" They wanna
Yes,
go, they mimic what they see you
they
doing,
do.
so, yeah,
Yeah.
so that's good.
There's a saying, it's not only what's taught, but it's what's caught. And if they see
Right.
mommy taking breathing breaks, if they see
Mhm.
mommy, if she's, you can feel the energy in the room shift if someone's
Yeah.
irritated or agitated or whatever, but they see mommy, oh, she was agitated, now she went for a walk. Okay. So now they start understanding,
Mhm.
okay, I'm a little agitated or irritated or
Mhm.
whatever. I'm
Mhm.
gonna go, let me go grab my shoes, or
Yep.
let me go do some deep breathing, or let me go take a
Yep.
bath, whatever you got to do to ground your let me go ground, literally go take
Right.
my shoes off
Right.
my feet in the
Mhm.
ground, whatever
And
you got to
ground.
do. And
Mhm.
so it's so important. I love that you said make it part of your business plan. You guys schedule it in just as if you were scheduling a patient or a client.
Right.
Make those
Right.
appointments, make that appointment with yourself daily or
Yes.
multiple times a day. Like literally, my alarm is set. It's going to go off here in just a second. It's set at the top of the hour, to remind myself to take intentional breathing breaks.
Yes, and just real quick, I did wanna mention that, as I mentioned, my children, if you incorporate this as a part of a like, doing it as a
Mhm.
family, then that may be, the best time for you to do it, because I do teach my kids breath work, like you said.
Mhm.
They do kids yoga poses, like, they are starting to incorporate those things, and those are things that they can pass down to their generations,
For
and
sure.
just keep health and wellness going.
There we go. And again, to bring it
Yeah.
full circle back to generational health. And what more, we always hear generational wealth, but if we don't have our health, we ain't got nothing.
Health as well.
So health
That's
is wealth
right.
for
Mhm.
sure, for sure. Thank you, Tawana. This has been so great. We'll do a quick little fast rapid fire. You ready?
Okay,
Okay.
yes.
She's like, okay. All right. Rapid fire. Don't think too hard. First thing that comes to your mind. Who was your childhood celebrity crush?
Tupac.
Really? Listen, I love me some Tupac now.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. All right. Love Tupac. Okay, cool. Who is one person who you would love to trade places with for a day?
Dang, that was a good one. Um, shoot, I don't know. I was gonna say myself on vacation. Like, that's where I
Okay.
wanna
uh,
be.
There's no wrong answer, so there you go. Yourself
Okay.
on vacation. Okay, cool. What's something you wish you were better at?
Um, I wish I was better at well, look, I'm hesitating even saying it. Sometimes
That's all right.
I see, like, things differently from different perspectives, and sometimes I don't wanna, hurt people's feelings, so I
Mm,
like, maybe not say it or hold back or, try to find the best way to say it because, when I was younger, girl, they be like, "Ooh, did you just say that?" So as I got older,
yeah,
I'm like, "Okay, well, let me be a little bit more sensitive, I don't wanna hurt people's feelings." So,
yeah.
yeah, I
But
think
it's
just
needed.
yeah,
I think anything can be said with with love, right? Coming from a
yeah.
place of love,
It's
even if it's
always coming from love, but yeah,
yeah, even
everybody's
if
not
it's
ready to
something.
receive
You're
though.
right. You're
Like, that's
right.
the thing, yeah.
You're absolutely right. Yeah. Okay, so two more. What's the best compliment you've ever received?
I feel like one of my clients, well, actually my close friend said that I see her in ways
Wow.
that
Yeah.
no one else does and she feels very comfortable with me. Like I don't I'm just myself and I don't I guess the impact that she was very expressive with telling me the impact that I made in her life, and that was just touching to me because, of course, I'm just
Tawana,
new.
that's huge to
I'm
be
just new.
seen.
Yeah.
To be seen is huge. So yeah, that's a huge compliment. I see
Mhm.
you. For someone to
Yeah.
see you. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. And last one. If you were stranded on a deserted island, what
Mhm.
is one thing that you absolutely must have with you?
Water, I guess.
Yeah, that'd be good.
You gotta have some water.
Have some water. Gotta stay alive, stay hydrated. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Oh my god. So I see that wasn't so bad.
No,
The
that wasn't
fire.
bad. That wasn't bad, yeah.
I just want to thank you so much for your time, for your energy, for your brilliance, and
Oh,
really
no
shining
problem.
a
Thanks for
light.
having me.
Yes,
Thanks for having
absolutely.
me. I enjoyed myself.
I'm glad. I'm glad.
Anytime, anytime. I love the Charyse Williams show.
I love it too. But this, and although it is May, and we wanted to definitely make sure that we brought this to you in May because it is Mental Health Awareness Month. You guys, any day, any month is every day is Mental
Mental
Health
health, right.
Awareness.
Every day.
Every day.
365.
365. So I don't want y'all to be waiting
Mhm.
until next year and so I have Tawana back on from in May. No, 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 no. You do what you need to do for yourself
Right.
now. Every
Yes,
day, prioritize your mental health. So thank you again.
absolutely.
And thank you for providing this safe space for healthcare providers,
Yes.
particularly. So,
My pleasure.
yay. With that being said, you guys, thanks so much for joining us for another episode of the Charyse Williams Show. As always, I love you. I appreciate you. And I'll see you next time for another episode of the Charyse Williams
Yeah.
Show. Bye for now.